Joe?
What do they say? Third time's the charm?
Joe, that's your fault. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's your fault.
That's what happens when you take a week off.
Joe made the most fatal flaw of them all. Right before I hit go live, he goes, "Man, I'm just so happy that like nothing's going on this week, nothing's going wrong. Like your camera's working, everything's just going fine." And then he jinxed us. What's up, y'all? Hey, welcome. Hey, John, I saw your comment just a minute ago. Hey, sorry about that, man. I'm glad you emailed me to check and see what was going on. Hey, we had to miss last week. I had to be at work late on Tuesday evening and couldn't make it home in time for a show. So that was a hiccup in going live. And then Joe went and watched some of his cousins play some volleyball. So he took advantage of that, and it was kind of nice to have a week off. So if you're ever wondering where we are on a Tuesday night, if we're not live, you can count on us to at least have given you a heads up. So make sure, and I know on some devices the community posts don't show up like they do.
What's up, Lake House? Thanks for tuning in.
What's up, Kyle? Hey, what's up?
Chicagoland.
Chicago. Hey, but check the community posts. I'll always try to give a heads up at least 24 hours ahead of time, so you're in the loop as to whether or not we are skipping out on a week. But again, you know, it's already in our calendar to be here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. So there's got to be some pretty how do you say that word, Joe? Extenuating circumstances for us not to be live. Yeah.
It was good. It was. And what's funny is I was at this volleyball game, and it's up in like Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and my cousins, they're seniors this year in high school, and I promise I get to a couple of their volleyball games. They've been playing varsity volleyball since like freshmen, and I'm like, we're sitting up in the stands, and I sent Travis a picture. There's a guy sitting in front of me with a University of Arkansas shirt. I'm like, man, I can't even get a break from you. You got Arkansas in front of me. Like, come on, man.
You thought you could get away from hog talk or hog anything for just 1 week, one freaking week.
Sixers are looking good, Kyle. Yes, they are. Oh man, I can't wait. I'm like, I didn't say anything to the guy. He actually seemed young. I don't think he was in. I don't know what the story was because. I mean, college is, I'm pretty sure, still in session in most places. But it was a really good volleyball game. It was really intense. It was a rivalry game. See, I can't say that word either. Rivalry game. And,
Joe, you would think we would have our mouths and our minds back in order for the show tonight after a week off.
Well rested after a week off, yeah. Nah, that's not how it works.
Well, we hope a week in between shows might be a good thing. We don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes today.
Joe and I mentioned earlier, look, everybody's schedules are crazy busy, especially as we're heading into the meat of the lawn care season. Who knows? Maybe every Tuesday night, Joe, is too much through the lawn season, and we go every other night. But until further notice, we're here every single Tuesday night. So I'm hoping last week's little hiatus will bring in some folks that haven't been able to join us for the last few weeks or so. Oh my gosh, 1 minute to go, Joe. We're late. I'm telling you, I was trying to hit go live, and Joe was talking about how nothing's gone wrong yet tonight. And sure enough, I had to reboot OBS. It had locked up. I guess I'd had it open for too long, kind of inactive. So I rebooted it, got it cranked back up, and bam, worked like a charm. Checking in from Big Orange Country. What's up from Big Orange Country?
What is Big Orange Country?
Hey, is that Syracuse? Big Orange, New York?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Oh my gosh, hey.
Or no, it says chat vol. So maybe.
Oh, Tennessee. No. That's right.
Yeah.
That's definitely Tennessee.
We'll see what he says in a second.
Tennessee had been on a roll in baseball over the last couple of weeks. Finally lost one this past weekend, but had finally found their groove for just a little bit.
Chattanooga.
Hey, Joe, here we go, man. Here we go. It is time to start the show. This is, you know what it is, Joe. You know what it is. It's the Budget Wooder Show on Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central. Back with you after just a brief but much needed break. It wasn't really a break, was it, Joe? Because you were out of town watching volleyball and I was at work. I was live streaming, believe it or not. We were live streaming. This time of year at school, we've got all sorts of events going on, from band concerts, dance recitals, choir concerts, you name it, it's going on. So I was at school last week live streaming with some students, and Joe was watching volleyball. Did they win? Did you already say that? Forgive me if they did win.
They won.
Good.
And it thank God it didn't go to 5 sets. It only went to 4.
Oh, because you said you were about an hour out of town, right?
Yeah. It's about an hour ride, so it's a little hike. We don't see them that often, as much as we like to. So it's nice to see family when you can.
Well, I'm sure they really appreciated that. I mean, how much younger are they than you?
They're 18. I'm 33.
So quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm the oldest in my family. Of like, me and my sister were always the oldest grandkids. My parents, they were high school sweethearts. They met in high school, obviously. So they had us pretty much after my mom got done college. So like, we were always the oldest of all of our cousins, first cousins, second cousins, you name it. So it's a big age gap between my first cousins and myself. So it is what it is. But,
well, that means a lot when their older cousin is up in the stands. So that's I remember being a kid when my older cousins, who were quite a bit older than me, would show up at things. I mean, that was just cool because you've got a family, you've got a wife and kids, and it's not easy for you to break away for stuff like that. So I'm sure they understand the sacrifice that it takes for you to be there, and it means a lot to them. Hey, John, exactly, John. Anything to try and get more viewers. Every little bit helps. So if you are here tonight, looks like there's 14 of our friends out there. Hey, go ahead. Let's start things off, Joe. What can they do to help us get this thing rocking and rolling?
So you guys can smash that like button. It does help out with the channel, helps out with the stream. And like always, guys, we always start off every week with our fact of the day or current event or the or what should I say? Today in history.
This day in history. You did little known fact about Joe, but he is a self-proclaimed historian. So he gets everything started with our little history lesson on Tuesday evenings.
Back in 1980, the horror film classic Friday the 13th came out.
On this day,
believe it or not. About it, of course, everybody knows it's about summer camp counselors being hunted by the mass killer Jason Voorhees, and it was a huge success, and it led to a lot of really bad sequels. So
not just sequels, but like
just like every other movie that comes out with sequels
that are still going today. Wasn't there one that came out last year where Jamie Lee Curtis was still rocking and rolling in those things?
Well, that's how.
That's Halloween. That is. This is
Jason Voorhees with the mask.
Yes.
Well, they both have masks, but the one that has the hockey.
Whatever. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. There's Freddy Krueger, and then there's So Halloween was Jason. Friday the 13th was Freddy Krueger.
No. Friday the 13th is Jason Voorhees. Halloween is Michael Myers.
Oh. See, I'm not into the scary movies.
I like Halloween. I like the original Halloween.
I like Halloween, but I introduced my kids to Ernest Scared Stupid this past Halloween. I don't know if you remember watching all the Ernest movies from the 90s. Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to Jail. Jim Varney was the guy that played Ernest. That was his character that he had developed for some local commercials. I think it was he became pretty big on the local commercial scene and started going nationwide before you knew it. TV show or a movie deal, and came out with a pretty good string of hits back in the 90s, kind of like Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore was one of those guys that Pauly Shore was one of those guys that had his run for a short period of time, but Ernest looks like John Cena's uncle. Who was it? Who was his uncle in the? Was it Vern, or was that his neighbor? I don't remember. But the kids really liked the Ernest Scared Stupid.
I enjoy showing my kids stuff that I grew up with. There's a movie that I was in the Disney Channel era when with all those shows that came out during the Disney Channel that were popular in the 90s.
That
So,
was Nickelodeon, just a little bit before
uh,
Disney
yeah,
Channel.
yeah, I had Disney, I had Nickelodeon as well, like Hey Arnold, and Rugrats and the things like that. But I always show them during St. Patrick's Day. There's this movie called The Luck of the Irish that came out on Disney Channel. The kids really like that movie, and then I showed them like Halloween Town in during Halloween time. But
You're,
it's just it's always something when you watch something that you grew up on with your kids and you see their reaction, and
it's
especially how
sometimes they like it, and sometimes they're like, "This
yeah
sucks. Like,
they're
can
like
we turn this crap off?"
yeah. There's a couple things I've turned on that they just they have no interest.
I
So
tried to show them the old Pippi Longstocking movie where they clean the wood floor with the brushes on their feet, and the horses upstairs in the attic. And I think that, gosh, I can't remember. That might have been an '80s movie or early '90s. And same with Swiss Family Robinson. They're too old looking. They're not good enough quality. It's like, are we really going to watch this? Hey, speaking of something you grew up with, Joe, did you grow up with our sponsor tonight? Was that kind of your thing back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It was a little probably before me, but obviously, being this movie taking place very close to me, yes, I would say it would be a part of me growing up.
So you're saying that with him giving an endorsement on this product for our sponsor tonight, that you'd give it a shot because
Yeah.
there are a lot of good brands of this kind of treat out there, and I may have to give this one a shot.
So this is brought to us by Mr. T. I pity the fool, woman. I can predict pain when you chew. It's Mr. T's grass jerky. No promo code. So sorry guys. He's he's a little angry when when I talked to him on the phone. He said, "Hey, Waterboy Productions. I like that bunch of water show you do with that boy down in South."
Joe, you're much better at Mr. T than you were at your, who was it, David Beckham?
Yeah, David Beckham. Yeah.
Hey, look.
Hey, woman.
This is
You want a man? Hey, come to my house.
the legend has it that when he contacted you, Joe, he said that he was going to haunt us in our sleep and come after us if we try to get an affiliate link set up on his beef jerky. That no proceeds go to any lawn care YouTubers on this deal. So yeah, no link tonight. We'll have to try our shot at something next time. Joe, you need to start finding us these sponsors that we're just going to get rich off of, because we're here only. We do this live stream every night, not every night, every Tuesday night, not as a way to say thanks to all the people that have watched our channels over the last few years, but by gosh, we're doing this because we're trying to rake in the cash, aren't we, Joe? We're trying to get rich off this. What is going on with people that they're doing live streams to have fun? Live streams aren't about fun, Joe. They're about getting rich and making lots of money, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, and these people that do that, I don't know. They're just, I don't want to get started. I don't want to get started too early. I mean, we haven't gotten to the hot take yet because that's really going to get me worked up.
Well, let's just say this. I only bring that up because if you watched the show 2 weeks ago, Joe's hot take was about clown show live streams, and we left off on a good note. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good discourse about things going on in the lawn community. But so that's why our title tonight is Lawn Care Needs More Live Streams. But if you ask me, Lawn Care needs more live streams that are just fun, like that aren't just lawns and question and answer and about making money. I know we talked about some a couple weeks ago that I think there's a lot of questions going around about Lawn Care live streams because some people might be wondering how they can get a piece of the pie, and they're trying to work their way into a live stream for financial gain. That's not why we're here, y'all.
It's not so much that. Like I watch, for me, I watch a lot of people. Like Kyle was in there, Lake House Lawncare, and he's been on YouTube for years, and it's. I feel like you watch these YouTube videos, you really don't get to know somebody. Like I feel like with the live streams like that we have done, you really get to know the person. You get to see their personality more because they're not. Some of these people have scripts. They write stuff down. they go out in their yard and they know what they're going to
Joe,
say
what,
somewhat.
Joe, wait. Hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
I've got this ready. You have this problem in your lawn. Here, you'll probably want to buy this, okay? Wait, where'd my other camera go? I don't have my other, just one camera. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I think we've really, like, if anybody has watched our live stream in the last, what are we, 13 weeks now?
This is 13 out of 14 weeks.
Right? And I think they've really gotten to know us from a personal side. They see again, like I said, they can see our personalities. We've talked about a lot of things other than just lawn care, and there's more to life than just lawn care. I mean, if you want to go out in your grass and jerk off every night, that's fine. But that's just not me. I'm not into that.
Joe,
kind of thing.
did that comment come to mind based off of?
Sorry.
Does that comment come to mind based off something we're going to talk about here in just a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a precursor to later on.
Hey, but anyway, we hope y'all have fun when you come hang out with us on Tuesdays, because really that's all it is.
And ask us questions. Like, if you're in the chat and you have a question, if it's about lawn care, great. If you
want to know how the hogs
you want to know
doing
something about us, like, go ahead.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we're here for. We're not here just to, like, it's supposed to be a so-called community, this lawn care thing. And a lot of these people that are in our community, it's great to see Kyle, someone new that's in the lawn care community, come onto the chat and just shout us out. And I mean, we got a couple new people that are in the chat, which is great.
Hey, look at this, Joe. Look at chat. Vol got my 12-year-old son mowing yards in the neighborhood this year. Good
job.
You. Hey,
and that kind of precursors
another
topic. So stay tuned to that, because that's good as well.
But we say all that. I started that whole thing, Joe, not to derail us or bring up the conversation from 2 weeks ago. But if you haven't seen that, go watch it 2 weeks ago. But just to say, hey, look, we're here to have fun.
Hey, Bill, if you're into that sort of thing, by all means, you do that on your time. This is our time.
I'll look away. You do you, and I'll do me. I just said that, Joe, because we're just here to have fun, and I just want to say thanks for all the people that do come join us on Tuesday nights. I know we're not the typical, hey, gonna give you the answer to all your brain-busting questions, but look, that's why we make videos during the week to cover lawn tips and that kind of stuff, and we'll certainly give them here on the show, but we want to talk about other things as well.
Let's get into your project. I mean, I haven't seen any pictures other than on your community page, and I try not to look at them as much because I want to be surprised when we go do our live stream. So let's see what's going on. What's going on with the wall?
Big project in the front lawn. Let me answer this question real fast.
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, we got a 5-month-old starting next month. Hey.
Nice. Whoa.
Hey, you're the boss, man. You are the boss. It's your kid. I'm not here to tell you how to raise your kids.
Make sure you wear some PPE with that. So it's the first rule of lawn care right there.
Just to answer this one question, what's the best post-emergent for broadleaf weeds this time of year? This time in South for hybrid Bermuda. Look, it's tough to give the definite answer for best or worst, or anything that's like a definite. But what I can tell you is I've always had extremely good results with the Spectracide Weed Stop for Lawns plus Crabgrass Killer. You get it in the hose in, you get it in the concentrate, you get it in the ready to use. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's inexpensive. I don't like to say cheap, because cheap kind of denotes that it's not any good, but it's inexpensive. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, your local hardware store. And it's taken care of all the weeds in my lawn every time I've used it. So I just keep rocking and rolling with it. We actually talked about weeds a few episodes back. What was that? Stay off the weeds was the thumbnail. Go check that out.
Yeah.
Lots of good information about weed control in that. So look, if you've been following along, you're a little bit more in the loop about what's been going on in my front lawn. Big renovation, not even a grass renovation, an overhaul of the entire thing. And it is still underway. I'm going to show you a couple pictures to start things off about the main stage of the front lawn, kind of where it's gone over the last couple weeks. Not a whole lot of changes there, but we did start on the side yard to the other side of the driveway. So the main part of the front lawn has become a little bit stagnant on the left side of the driveway because those walls are pretty much finished. You can see that we've got our 2 walls built and our natural stone steps leading up through them to the top tier of the front lawn.
So that's how you build a wall, man. I wish we could do that. That's amazing.
That's how you do it, and
only we could do that other places too.
And so we got 2 walls built. They got the caps on them. That's probably the most recent thing that you haven't seen yet here on the live stream. You can be following along on the community post. I've been posting some pictures there showing kind of what's going on. But that's
need to get a couple gun turrets in there or something, because it I don't know, those 2 lower plots just look like, man, if you I could see your kids when it snows just hanging there and building a fort and then throwing snowballs as people drive by on the streets.
It's good. It's going to be awesome. So
that's awesome.
The lower tier in between the 2 walls is going to be flower bed space with lots of ground covers, perennials, some shrubs. Really not a big fan of annuals. I like to plant things that are going to die back over the winter and come back to life in the springtime. So that's where we're going to see a lot of landscaping. And the main reason for this was, if you're not aware, is this was one steep hill. And look, I love grass, but I also am in the business of limiting the amount of grass I have to take care of, because I really like the gardening side of it, the flower gardening side of it, planting things and taking care of those. So I like to have the best of both worlds with plants and grass care. So there's not going to be a very big lawn in the main part of the front of the house. I mean, it's first and foremost, it's going to be pretty much flat. It's not going to be a lot of grass, but I'm going to have a much more time-friendly, manageable stand of turf to take care of, as opposed to one big steep lawn of Bermuda grass. So that's certainly a plus, but of course having a flat lawn compared to what
like I said a couple weeks ago, guys in the chat, we need to start a fund for Travis. We all know how he started on YouTube with his rocking chair. So please, by all means, let's do a little super chat, maybe get a little fun going.
No. The rocking chair is being retired. I've already retired it.
Come on.
It's retired, man. I'm just
isn't that a standard for all Southern people to have a rocking chair and a mason jar and sip on some sweet tea or something?
Oh yeah. It's part of the gig. If you look. If I ever move down south, that's what I would be doing. Well, that rocking chair is getting retired because it's just seen better days. I'm sure when we get this whole front lawn finished up, our front porch needs to have a couple rocking chairs on it for sure.
You're right, Los Angeles Rams. He does. He really does care about his followers, unlike a lot of people out there. But if you guys don't know the story behind me and Travis, at first I didn't like the guy. I used to curse about him all the time behind the scenes. And then, we started this live stream and, we've really become pretty good friends now. And, he really does. And that's what separates him from a lot of other YouTubers out there. I mean, he's answering comments, you see him communicating with the people in the chat here, so kudos to Travis.
And, I appreciate that, Joe. Yeah. I do. That means a lot. I appreciate the kind words. Look, if it weren't for
and I'm not just saying this just to
he's not blowing smoke up my butt.
I really do genuinely mean that, and so this from the heart, people, from the heart. Donovan Chespin.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe, because I think a lot of people have lost sight of their followers and subscribers when the zeros start stacking up on the bank account line. And that's never been what it's about here on Budget Lawns. So I'm able to focus more on answering people's questions, getting to know people, and just doing what I started this for 4 years ago, continuing that up.
He does grow on you like a fungus.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, but with that said, look, we started doing this live stream, as I mentioned a few moments ago, not for any kind of monetary gain. We didn't do this to sell things or for the whole super chat deal. We did this because it's our only and best way to connect with y'all more on a face-to-face personal level. So if you're joining us every Tuesday night, every last Tuesday of the month, there is a giveaway. And we're not doing this for giveaways to like entice people to come on and all that kind of stuff. It's just another way to say thank you. Every last Tuesday of the month, what we do is Joe places me hidden in some images that we show throughout the show.
And I'm making it harder too.
And if you're watching the program and you're the first to see me and point me out in the chat that you see me, then you get a free $20 gift card to Home Depot or Lowe's. And it's just an e-gift card. John was our first winner, John Barrett. You can attest to this, John, that the next day after that last show on that Wednesday, Joe, I got on. He said he wanted a Lowe's gift card. I got on Lowe's.com, set up a $20 gift card, emailed it to John, and he had a $20 gift card the next day. Didn't have to wait on anything in the mail. He can go get with that gift card whatever the heck he wants. I don't care. That's up to him. It could be lawn related. It could be something for the old lady or for a grandkid or whatever you want to get. You go get what you want to get. We're not here to give away products that somebody else gave to us. We're going to give away gift cards.
Bill, if you want to get that foreplay, gift for yourself, go ahead. I mean, you do what you got to do. If, I like, if you like tugging on those hoses, they got plenty of them in Home Depot and Lowe's. But yeah, and John, he wasn't in the Mr. T pick, but he's in a couple of the pictures that you'll see later on. They're very small. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. So keep an eye out.
Joe said he's going to make them a little bit more difficult. But hey, look, let's say this, Joe. We're not going to finish each last Tuesday of the month show without a winner. So if we got to go back through some of those photos, if somebody didn't find me yet, we'll keep giving you opportunities. But
got to make it harder. I mean, that was our first time doing it. So, but let's just say that they'll be more strategically placed in the future.
Oh, a soil test. You know what? That's a great idea. I've never seen anyone give away a soil test on YouTube.
And I probably wonder why.
Okay, hey, look, I'm looking at my watch like I have, or my wrist like I got a watch on. I don't have a watch on. Hey, if you were here 2 weeks ago and you saw that my camera was all jacked up, I told Joe during the pre-scalp and before we went on, all it was I was using an old micro HDMI cord that had just seen better days, and it was just not sending a fast enough signal through the capture card into the computer.
Man.
Replaced it with a cheap mic.
Sixers.
I replaced it with a cheap HDMI cord. Actually, I got kind of a nicer one just to be safe. Bam, it works every time I turn it on. I'm always told that having the right equipment makes a huge difference, and I've saved so much time over the last 24 hours.
I'm hardwired in now. I got a new location for everything in a new room, and I'm loving it.
You look great, Joe. You look like $1 million. Hey,
thank you.
Joe's channel. If you're not already subscribed to Joe's channel, go show him some love. He's doing some really cool things on Thursday nights. I know you didn't get to it this last Thursday. I didn't see one, Joe. But he does his Thunder Thursdays. You can see the Eagles sign behind him. He's got this new Joe, I'll let you tell about it. But go follow Wooder Boy Productions. Joe, what are you getting into this season besides lawn care?
So this is obviously the old school Eagles, the Kelly Green Eagles. It's actually a layered one I did. You can see it's white on the bottom, black.
It doesn't get better than the Kelly Green Eagles logos.
Nah. And then and then next to me I've sold about 10 of these so far.
That one's sick, dude.
The Star Wars one here.
That is sick.
So if you're interested in this sign, you can reach out to me on Instagram or anywhere. And so this is all done on a laser. It's a CO2 laser. And it's all hand painted, glued together. And Bill actually has one of the signs that was featured in the earlier episode. It was a "Yes, it's real" sign. And if you don't, I think it was the last episode where we showed the video.
Was that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? No, it was 2 weeks ago. That's 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Bill's yard. Yeah, that was really cool. You got to go check that out.
Yeah, that was really sweet. And I've always liked wood. Like I've always liked working with wood, making signs. around the house. Like just, I actually took an old, like when we renovated our house, I took a piece of wood that we took out for like a column, and I made like a sign out of that. And I don't know, I just really enjoy it. I'm going to be in a fall craft fair around in my area in the fall time in September to sell like door hangers and different things like that. But yeah, I just really enjoy it. So that's what's going to be more on my channel this year. Is if you're into that kind of thing, like to see like a process on how something's made. Give it a follow, give it a like, check it out.
Hey, John, that's a good question. So Joe and I talked about this with stuff like that. There are a lot of laws and legality things, and correct me if you're an attorney in the chat. We would love to have a house attorney that can help us answer some of these questions. But when it comes to like hobby related stuff, if you're doing things and you're really just kind of breaking even, it's a totally different ball game. If you're not generating a high enough revenue that it becomes like a lucrative type side business. So if anyone in the chat knows about trademarks, copyright, all that kind of stuff, that's a great question.
I mean, that is a great question. I mean, I see a ton of stuff on Etsy and Facebook Marketplace that can be questionable, and I think it's just a matter of like if these
you're such a small fish in the pond right now. You're not on anybody's radar. And it's just it's a hobby thing because you're trying to find people who are hobbyists when it comes to Star Wars stuff. So.
George, I would be able to make a custom design. Reach out to me on Instagram, Wooderboy Productions. DM me there. Maybe we can do something.
Yeah, that's super cool. So go subscribe to Joe's channel, Wooderboy Productions. Okay, he's doing a lot more on there besides just lawn care. So we hope that if you're joining us on Tuesday nights, you're one of those kind of people too. You've got
Doghouse. I'm guessing he's in our Doghouse. I'm guessing he's in Georgia, but yeah, I'd be game for an Eagles game.
Dude, we got to get.
We are the Georgia Eagle dogs now. So
Georgia's Cowboys fan. We need to get all down to Jerry World when it's Eagles Cowboys sometime, and it's only about a 5-hour drive from me. My in-laws live down there, and get down there and have like a big old lawn meetup at Jerry World for a football game. That would be pretty sweet. Hey, so we looked at my front yard just a second ago, Joe, on the left side of the driveway, and you probably saw in that one picture where you could see the right side. That was kind of the beginnings of the work being done on the right side. But I'm telling you, man, every day I come home, I'm just like, holy smokes, this is going to be awesome. This was today. So, man, I don't know how many people remember what it looked like before this project started, but my video that I did this past weekend, it'll show you some video from last spring. This was a nightmare to mow, especially this side yard. I'm not kidding you, Joe. There was one time where I rolled my ankle so bad that when you first roll an ankle, you don't really feel anything and you just keep on going. Then it's later on that day when you get laid up inside and you're like, holy crap, I can't move. But mowing this side yard last year, I rolled my ankle so bad that I thought I broke it later on that day. Of course, I didn't break it, but one time of rolling your ankle like that, and then other times of slipping and sliding when the grass was just slightly wet. I couldn't do it anymore. So you can kind of see in the background of that one how steep it drops off there from my neighbor's yard. And it was just like that in mine. I would seriously have to get like in a rocking motion with the lawnmower to try to go up, or I would just have to go all the way around up the driveway, climb up the hill, and then mow downhill just to be able to get that thing mowed. So this is going to be a huge relief this summer to not have to deal with what I was dealing with last year. Hey, John, check this out. This is the cool thing. So John's asking, what are they going to do on the neighbor side to hold that side up? Guess what? You'll see it right here in this picture. That wall is going to go all the way back almost to my fence. Not all the way to the fence because it's still sloped on the other side of the fence, but it's going to go back within 18 inches of the fence, I think, kind of like the same distance that it is off the driveway and sidewalk. So when you're looking from my driveway like you are in this picture, you're going to see that veneer-faced rock wall on that side of my neighbor. So that whole area on that right side of the driveway is going to be, for the most part, pretty darn flat. So it's really going to be a huge relief, because last year, I'm not kidding you, man, I didn't want to mow. I didn't want to go out in the front yard. My kids were falling down it. Everything about it was unusable, and it was kind of deflating to have to deal with that. So, yeah, John, John, that's true. I might have to put up some beware of the walls. So, what's that, Bill? You hear noise? I don't hear anything. Joe, you hear anything? Joe.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
No, you scared me, dude. Don't go quiet like that.
I'm just making sure everything's off. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
It sounds super windy. Huh? I don't know.
Sounds like wind.
I don't know, man. Hey, sorry about that. Nothing's different in here than it is every other night we've been on. Now I hear our.
It does sound super windy.
It's off of my microphone.
I don't know.
It does sound.
All right, hold on. Let me try.
Let me put myself on mute.
Let me. Forget it.
Let me put myself.
All right. So hey, that's the update on the front yard. Big changes. Joe, you still listening? You still listening?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it cleared up.
Okay. It look,
maybe it's my mic. I don't know.
You never know. Look,
who knows?
It's the
on to the
power of the
on
world.
to the next.
But hey, that's the front yard update. Still, I think we're looking at possibly an end of the month completion, because there's still drainage work that has to be done. There's still a lot of work that is still yet to go. It's just a big project, and it's going to completely transform the front lawn. I'm ready to get things planted. Probably won't be until next season till I really get things in the ground, because I'm trying to get things in the ground this year. But man, this season has been off to a sloth of a crawl. I mean, it is slothing along. I mean, it is. So I told you, Joe, that just this time last week, we were waking up with temperatures in the 30s with daytime highs only in the upper 60s. Now, we finally are up in the 80s during the day with overnight lows in the 60s, but this is way later than usual. So the Bermuda lawns have responded at the speed of snail.
Yeah.
It is just it. I drove through a neighborhood the other day that's typically full of beautiful green, large Bermuda lawns. And we had such a harsh winter this past winter. I'm seeing a lot of Bermuda that has suffered from extreme winter kill this year. I'm talking lawns that are still almost look completely dormant, because those negative 18-degree temperatures we had for a short period this past winter can wreak havoc on Bermuda turf. And a lot of folks are going through that right now. Temperatures haven't been warm enough to wake it up fast enough. So it's going to be a slow start to the season, but we'll be begging for some of the cooler temperatures before you know it. Yeah, John, climate change. Hey, so getting asked about plants. I've got a handful that I've gotten a little note on my phone, but a lot of perennials and ground covers that I really, really like to plant. Just to name a few real fast, because we're going to talk about that in some future videos and here on the live stream. But I'm a big fan of Dusty Miller Artemisia. I don't know exactly how you say it. I'm a big fan of Ajuga. I like Yews. I'm going to try some Creeping Jenny. Let's see. Probably going to put some coneflowers in there somewhere, maybe some sedum. A lot of things that I'm going to plant that are super, super low maintenance, going to spread very quickly and densely on their own, that will not take much in the way of deadheading or pruning or trimming or anything like that. That just thrives all year long during the spring, summer, and part of fall, and then dies back a little bit in the winter, and then jumps back to life when the warm temperatures of the spring roll back around. So we'll get more into that at some other time. What's it, Joe? What's it been like for you up there?
It's starting to warm up finally. I mean, today wasn't the warmest day, but like right now, apparently it says it's 73 degrees on my laptop. But it's starting to turn later in this week. It's going to be in like the 80s. But I mean, things are growing. I mean, I'm cutting almost twice a week now, and I'm taking off a good amount of grass each time I'm cutting. And I just did my second application of the year for fertilizer last night, because the weatherman, they said we were supposed to get some rain, but we didn't. Thank you, weather people. Um, but so yeah, I mean it's going good. I mean we're probably we might do some mulch this Friday or Saturday in our backyard around our pool, and that's another thing. We got our pool open.
Nice.
I sent Travis a picture from last week about it, and I mean we can't really go in it yet. The kids were daring, and they actually our oldest jumped in and then went into the hot tub afterwards. But I was just tired of hearing. I was just tired of seeing the tarp on the pool.
Looks
We don't
nasty
have
this time of year, doesn't it?
Yeah, we don't have a traditional like hard top where it has springs like the elephant top I call it, because they always all these brochures have like the elephant can stand on it kind of thing. That's our plan for this year, is to get that kind of tarp. And this thing just like sinks, and there's holes in it,
Leaves
and
and all sorts of
yeah,
stuff
and we
pile up
and
on
the
it.
and the and the neighbor behind me, he has flippers that like fall from his tree, and we try to wait as long as we can, because those flippers, one year I opened up the pool super early, and all these flippers came into the pool.
Flippers, are those like those pinwheel things?
Yeah, the pinwheel
Yeah, the
thing.
pinwheel
and
things.
and we had a shit ton of it in the pool one year, and it was just I couldn't get the pool clear. And apparently the phosphorus level was so high in the pool, I had to buy this like really expensive commercial grade chemical to clear it up. So we kind of learned our lesson from that year. And but yeah, I mean, things
You
are
learn
things
something
are
new
moving
every
along.
year.
Yeah, you learn something new every year. So
So I talk a lot about Bermuda grass, and that look, if it's not in the mid to upper 80s and close to 90 during the day and in the 60s at night, you just better put your patient pants on. What is if you're for your tall fescue? What is like your sweet spot for daytime highs and overnight lows for that stuff to really get going?
um I mean, I would say anywhere between like 70, like 65, 70, 80. Like, I don't know, that's a wide range, but like, I mean, like I said, mine, I hadn't fertilized. So, like I said, yesterday was the first time I did my second app of the year. And obviously, my first app's been working now for, about 30 days, 35, maybe 40 ish in that range. And it's still really taking and still growing, with that 30 to 40 range right there. And so, and our temps have been on the lower side, in the 60s and 70s. So, I mean, hey, in the fall time for obviously cool season. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, I went to the sod farm the last couple years.
You're a fall fan. I know that.
Yeah, and obviously I love fall, but when I went to the sod farm, the Tuckahoe sod farm by me, the last couple years, I mean, it's just green as you can imagine for miles, and it just, I mean, and we don't like, even in September, our highs are still like 90. We could get a couple 90 days and a couple 80 days, and it's still thriving and growing. I usually don't stop cutting maybe until like Thanksgiving the last couple years. Um, just keep just, I don't know if it's so much the weather or the fertilizer or what, but yeah, I mean, things are going good. I mean, it's green. Some of the poe that I've had in my yard from those hotter days, I mean, it's starting to finally burn off and go away. And I've been looking at like photos from last year and a couple like different short videos that I've done. And I definitely, this year has been cooler than last year, because it's some of that poe that I had last year was definitely gone by this time this year. So, but yeah, I'm pleasantly happy with my lawn so far, and also my sister's house that I treat as well. So
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I want to answer one question I saw a while ago. Somebody asked about DIY landscaping materials. Get online and find where your nearest bulk supply place is that sells mulch and river rock and pea gravel and topsoil and compost. Now, of course, you got to have a trailer or a truck to go pick that stuff up unless you want to pay a delivery fee. Most of them will charge a delivery fee. But if you're doing any kind of landscaping, carving out landscaping beds, anything of that nature, and doing mulch and fresh topsoil and all that, you want to buy that stuff in bulk. I know some people like to go get bags of mulch and find it easier to do it that way. But if you ask me, a scoop or two in the back of my truck of sand, mulch, topsoil is so much more convenient. Find you a place nearby. I mean, I can probably think of where 4 or 5 are just close to me here in Northwest Arkansas. I've got my favorites that I use all the time, but if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll start noticing more of those places around where they've got the little stalls where they've got their wood chips and their dark mulch and their masonry sand and their compost and their topsoil. But that, if you've got a pickup truck, that is certainly the way to go. And Joe mentioned fertilizer. Joe, normally I would be thinking about getting a fertilizer down about right now. We finally got warm enough temperatures where it's starting to green up enough to where I probably could throw it down. But I'm going to be honest with you, my mind is so laser focused on that front yard right now and just trying to get through the end of school. I don't know when I'm going to get that first round of fertilizer down. I probably would this weekend if there weren't such high chances of storms. Typically, I like to do it when there's rain coming, but here this weekend and this week, it's looking like there might be a little too much rain to where it could cause some of it to run off. I like when I know that there's going to be a steady rainfall coming. But if you're one of those people that's wondering, like, what's going to happen if I miss this round of fertilizer? Am I going to screw up my season? Is my spring going to be off to a terrible start? Well, hang out here because I'm going to show you that normally I usually have my first round of fertilizer down at least before the first week of May is up, and it's already May 9th, and I don't even have it yet. So it might be another couple weeks. So don't stress about getting your fertilizer down. If you don't have time, you get it down when you can. Joe's already got his down, and he said his sister's lawn is looking pretty sharp. And Joe, you got proof of that, don't you?
yeah, so I got a delivery of Lawn Box. Lawn Box is an Anderson's product. It's an all organic fertilizer, and they've been sending me their fertilizer for the last 2 years now, and to use on my yard and to use. And then this year I decided to just exclusively use it at my sister's house. You know, obviously it's free for one. No, you know, gonna admit I'm getting it for free, but and guess what? I'm gonna use it. Why not, right?
Well,
And
yeah,
and it works. I mean, that's
it looks
that's
good,
great.
man.
So we overseeded it last fall with 2 years ago. We overseeded it with GCI Turf. Pete, you know, if you guys follow GCI Turf, his tall fescue blend, and I wasn't super happy with it either at both at my house and her house. So last year I decided to go local. That was my whole thing last year. Shop local if you can. And so obviously this last year, Tuckahoe Turf Farms is by me. If you guys never heard of Tuckahoe Turf Farms, you've probably seen their side on TV at Fenway, the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Guardians or Indians, whatever they're called now, Lincoln Financial Field, Citizens Bank Park. I mean, they do a ton of sod for professional teams, and they're only 30 minutes from me in Hamilton, New Jersey, the blueberry capital of the world. And so I got my grass seed from there last year, and it's Mountain View grass seed. Mountain View grass seed, you've probably seen it on YouTube. A lot of YouTubers use Mountain View grass seed, and their blend is, I think it's like, I think it's 85 or 90% tall fescue, and the rest is Kentucky bluegrass. So that's what we seeded her lawn with last year, a whole 50-pound bag. And what I've been using, this has only been one application. Maybe I might get there this weekend and do her second app of Lawn Box. But it's a 1006 fertilizer. It's all organic. It's OMRI listed. If you see OMRI on a bag or on a fertilizer or topsoil or peat moss even, If you see Omri on it, means that it's certified organic by a third party, and that's what the Lawn Box brand strives for: is it being having no filler in it, no animal byproduct in it, and just a genuine fertilizer. Now, again, you guys know I don't like getting into the science of what's in the bag. I go by the results, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. I went, like I said, I got a delivery, brought it over to our house, and I saw that it needed to be cut. They're nurses. They don't, they were working on the weekend, and I figured I'll bring the kids over. We'll hop on our tractor lawnmower, and we cut it for her. And it looks really great. Even in the backyard, looks just as great as well. I didn't snap a picture, but I've been super happy with it. They live on a main road. A lot of people comment on her lawn, and ask her what she does, and she always says, I do it. So it's a good feeling when you get those compliments. So
Yeah, it looks great, dude. Hey, as some people were talking about the wind, Joe, I figured out what the wind was in the while they were saying it was windy. So you remember when you sent me those videos a couple weeks ago about your lights, and you did one outside where you had like 4 or 5 different things going on with your lights?
yeah,
Remember that one? Well,
yeah,
I had that one paused earlier, which would mute the audio from that video. But
gotcha.
when I rebooted OBS, I didn't re-pause that video. So sorry, folks. What you were hearing in the background was a video playing every time I pulled this screen up of Joe's lawn with his permanent LED lights on, and he had some videos from at night, and the wind was blowing those. So just consider that we're trying to get you in the mood with some
Yeah.
ambient outdoor sounds of the wind and breeze blowing upon you. So sorry about that. That's fixed.
And John brought up a great, and that was like
Jeez.
John, you like reading our
John,
minds
stop.
tonight.
John, you might have to be our producer.
Yeah.
You might have to be our producer. Hey, look, yeah, it's making you feel like you're looking at the lawn in real life. So look, thanks, Bill. We appreciate y'all pointing these things out. Makes a huge difference because look,
We're learning every week.
And stuff happens. That's the fun thing about going live is, I've been in live television before. That's the fun part. You think you have things that kind of start getting not derailed, but sliding off the tracks, and you got to fix it before you derail completely. Hey, speaking of making you feel like you're in real life or complimenting Joe's sister's lawn, Joe, no one this past 2 weeks sent us a picture or a video of their lawn. If you want, we're talking about doing one of our featured friends' lawns here on the show every week. 2 weeks ago, we did Bill's. Bill's lawn, Super TA in the chat, looks dynamite right now. And if you think yours looks good enough right now, and you want to show the people in the chat what you got going on in your lawn so far this season, or even in a month or two,
or
send
even
it
if
to
you
us.
want to, or even if you want us to critique it and tell you how bad it looks.
Hey, yes,
that's what we're here for.
Look, it pissed people off last fall when I posted my backyard and how bad it looked because I was so busy and I couldn't water it and take care of it, and it was okay because I didn't care. Like, priorities come first, so I didn't care. And boy, that ruffled some people's feathers, Joe. I don't get it. But look, I'm not here on YouTube to just show you when my lawn looks magazine cover ready. I'm here to show you the good and the bad. So if you want to send us some good pictures, some bad pictures, you could send it to me at mybudgetlawn@gmail.com, or you can send it to Joe on Waterboy Productions on Instagram, and we will get those plugged into the show, and you can be our featured friends lawn whatever week. Look, if nobody sends it 1 week and you want to do it again because you've improved something over the course of a week, let's rock and roll with it. I mean, that stuff is fun. We want you to be involved in the show just as much as we are, right, Joe? Hey, Joe, guess who I heard from in the chat in my comment on my latest video? I didn't know if he was keeping up with things here lately, but Driver reached out in my comment section, and I said, how you keeping up? I mean, how you holding up these days, Driver? Driver reached out. It was so great to hear from my good old buddy, old pal Driver. You know who I haven't heard of in a while?
Who?
My boy Harp. I don't know where Harp is. Harp's one of those guys that he
Probably laying in a ditch somewhere.
He only chimes in when he has something real jerky to say. He doesn't chime in to say anything nice ever. Never anything nice. And then he ridicules me when I say things that go against the grain of what he thinks. But boy, he sure loves to chime in when he wants to make me look like a fool. And never once will say anything positive. And somehow I'm the monster, Joe. I am just this big, bad monster. Okay, hey, check this out. Joe said something about pricing on this because that lawn box you were talking about, Joe. John, you beat us to the punch on this, but guess what? That lawn box ain't cheap, is it, Joe?
It's expensive. I mean, so we did one of our first episodes or earlier episodes was about, fertilizer pricing. And obviously you got Flagship on here, Green Ore, Humax from, that lawn box company that loves to do his Friday night live streams that he pushes so much. And, it's $25 a pound of nitrogen.
Who pushes that? Who did you just say?
Lawncare golf course guy. I don't know his name. Ron. I think his name's Ron. Yeah, something like that.
These companies have to jack the price up on these deals because they're getting.
$11.80 for a pound of nitrogen for a Humax Lebanon turf. I mean, that's expensive stuff. I mean, I don't know. I haven't this. So this was what, a month or two ago when we did this. So who knows? The prices
may have changed.
Just like everything in this world, everything's going up. So could have gone up, but Lawn Box is not linked down below. But if you're interested in a
hey Joe, are you
fertilizer,
tapping on your microphone? What does that sound that I hear?
Maybe
are your hands on your microphone?
No,
maybe.
It might be the helicopter going over my house.
Okay.
I live right next to a hospital, or not right next to it, but close to it, and the friggin' helicopter pad's like close to us, and I'm used to it. But anyway, I mean, lawn box, $25 a pound. Hey, I mean, I'm getting it for free, so if you want, go for it if you want, but I wouldn't suggest anybody. Hey, it works. That's at the end of the day, when it comes down to any of these fertilizers, I mean, I use what works. And, if it's the most expensive thing, by all means, use it. If it's the least expensive, great. But, it's just expensive, and I wouldn't recommend anybody using it unless they really want to go a 100% organic approach. And a 100% organic approach is going to be only using organic fertilizer. It's not going to be using a herbicide. It's not going to be using a pesticide. It's going to be strictly just that. And it's going to be hard for you to manage a lawn without some sort of herbicide or pesticide or other things as well. And I've learned myself. I mean, I used to be called the organic lawn warrior, and I was using synthetic fertilizers that were not organic. And I kind of learned my lesson that, what a purely organic approaches. So, but
Joe, I wonder how much this whole affiliate marketing, this new way of doing business, especially through influencers, is really driving the prices of these up. Because you got to figure that some of these are so darn expensive because there are more hands getting in on the action, more pieces of the pie being divvied up. So it has to go up a little bit if so-and-so is going to get a 10% kickback or a 5% kickback. It's like when as a former restaurant owner, when all these companies started coming out and doing delivery, these third-party delivery services, and customers think that, oh, this is so great because these restaurants are selling more food and now they can get it delivered. My gosh, the only reason why you're doing one of those third-party deliveries is more for an advertising expense. You're hoping that somebody will find you on the app and they'll order it and they'll have it delivered and go, wow, that was the first time I had it. I want to have that again, so let's go check it out. Because their fees were so darn high, and the margin in the restaurant industry is so small that even after raising the prices slightly for those third-party delivery apps, you're still taking a hit once they get their fee. So we would have to raise the price for the customer because the third-party delivery service would get a good size fee, and we were still left in the hole when the whole deal was said and done, but you did it more as a marketing and advertising expense than anything. So there's so much confusion out there when it comes to all this stuff, like who it benefits and how much. But now I'm not saying that fertilizers and these type companies work like those third-party deliveries, but there has to be some play into the pricing of these products and the reason why they're going up, not just what we've been hearing about the cost of fertilizers and sourcing and all that kind of stuff, because that's gone up for sure. But somewhere along the way, the influencers are driving up prices for their followers, their subscribers, their consumers. So I don't know.
I would definitely.
Get out of here with that. Look, too much hating on other channels in here. How old are y'all, the ones that say that? I'm willing to bet that the average age of the people that say that stuff is too old to understand how this works. Get out of here with that crap. I'm tired of hearing about it. This is a community. This is a community. It's not hating. This is discourse. If you don't like discourse, go. If you don't like hearing about these things, go. It's okay. This is true, real, honest, transparent discourse. If you can't handle that, go stroke their egos. I'm tired of hearing that crap. I'm tired of it.
It's not hating. It's criticism.
Good gosh, you big old titty babies. Y'all got to get over that stuff.
If you can't take credit, that's the problem with the I don't know if it's a younger.
It's a bunch of old men out there that are getting their panties all in a bunch because this is their lawn care community. Get out of here with that. My gosh.
If it was such a lawn care community, Alan Hain would be on other people's live streams and talking to people, or Ron being on other people's live streams and communicating with people in the chat, or John, Mr. Perry, Scam Man, and
y'all are so easy to take advantage of. That's why these people get you hook, line, and sinker so fast, because you are so naive. You're so naive. This is a different world out there right now. You better start figuring it out, because they're scamming people. And I'm not saying the people in the lawn care are, but people all over the internet. Quit getting upset about real conversation.
I bet if Mr. T was one of your neighbors and he had a really nice lawn, like Chat Vol would said there, he'd be like, "Get off my lawn!"
Oh my gosh, this stuff is just. I'm getting so tired of it. I'm getting tired of the softness of these beta people out there that don't have a backbone. Get real.
What are you doing, man?
Gosh.
Bill, you are the man, I swear. Thank you so much.
My gosh.
All right, so what do you want to do? I know we're getting towards the end of the night.
Let me straighten one thing out here. There's a problem with people my age, a lot of problems with people my age. There's a problem with any generation of people, okay? And I don't say what I said about, I'm sure it's the old guys. I'm not saying that as a blanket statement, because I know a lot of our friends in here are middle-aged to older men. But I'm willing to bet that a vast majority of those that get so butthurt and so soft about this stuff are old dudes that don't have a clue what they're really involved in on the internet. They have no idea.
Travis hot take tonight. Oh man, we haven't even gotten to my hot take. I mean, like, come on, you're Joe. Let's all the time.
Let's get me off of this, Bill. You are the man. This is why I love Bill. Bill and I have had little squabbles in comments before, and Bill knows I don't mean any of it out of hatred. I want to get into those conversations for real discourse about something that I enjoy. Asking questions, wondering, disagreeing. That's okay. Believe it or not, we can disagree. Like, Bill and I don't dislike each other because of that. Anyone who gets their feelings hurt over lawn care related discussions doesn't belong here anyways. Peace out. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. Joe, it's time for your hot take. My hot take is done. Folks, we appreciate your support, man. It just fires me up. Some people do need to do this, Bill. Thank you. We love you, Bill. We love all y'all in the chat. Thank you so much. Here's Joe's hot take. Most people just need to, what, Joe?
Just stay in your lane. So I encounter this every day, and this is on my way home from work. I work close enough where I go home for lunch every day, and I hate the people that this is actually a 3-lane intersection. There's a car there to the left. There's a turn lane, a left-hand turn lane, and then you have these 2 lanes here. You have your center lane there where you can go straight, and then you have your right turn lane where you can make a right or go straight. If you're not going to go straight, if you're not going to make a right, get the fuck out of the lane and get in the fucking center lane so I can make my right-hand turn to go the fuck home.
Because Joe, you could have been home 30 seconds earlier.
like this DC sniper van that was in front of me, right? You see this DC sniper van that was in front of me? He's going the fuck straight. Like, dude, get in the other lane so I can make my right-hand turn because it is a turn on red there. Like, I cannot stand the people that do this shit.
Well,
like,
I'm one of those that if I ever
and you know what I do? I fucking tailgate the shit out of those people.
Don't do that, Joe. People are crazy. People are crazy. You know what I do? Yes, George, San Antonio. My in-laws are from.
And you know who I haven't seen in the chat tonight? I'm a little disappointed. Is my good buddy Pat.
Oh, Pat.
Because we get a lot of obviously. There he is.
Pat,
Pat. Philly drivers or Pennsylvania drivers are the freaking worst. You guys do not know how to drive in New Jersey. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do not know how to drive in Philly or in Pennsylvania because whatever. That's a whole controversy here. But
Pat, we always say what you think about, you bring about. And Joe,
this has been one of those shows where like people just been like popping in onto the next topic of what we know, what we're talking about. Like, damn, man, it feels good to be back.
It does.
This 2-week hiatus. I mean, like, damn.
Joe, you do got to be careful though. I'm seeing people from San Antonio. George says San Antonio. Man, my in-laws are from Allen, Texas. Sadly, Allen, Texas is struggling right now. What a horrible event that happened there this past weekend. And I don't want to go Debbie Downer on that. But
remember, guys, Travis is in some of these pictures. So,
check in the pictures.
Check out the pictures.
But my father-in-law tells me horror stories about the road rage incidents that go on around Dallas and the suburbs. So you really got to watch out. But I will say, Joe, I have found myself in the position of this van driver in this picture, and I always feel like this sense of guilt. Sitting there, I'm like,
I hate that SUV driver that's at that red light there. I mean, man, I don't know who the hell that driver is.
Oh, here, should I do this?
To make it a little bit bigger.
Let me do this and see. Are you saying that I am somewhere in this photo? If you see me in this photo, shout it out in the chat.
You are in this. We might have to make it bigger, or I might have to make you a little bit bigger. That didn't sound right, but you guys know what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, so, Pat, no, don't even. Pat, we know you can spar.
Silver SUV, Millennium got it.
Nice. Pat, we know that you can spar with the War of the Words better than any of us. So, look, you can call us, you can try to offend me. I mean, you're probably not going to, but Joe and Pat have had their little battles. I'm not going to, no, Pat, I'm not buying it. So cool. People saw me. Hey, Joe, we've got,
I know we just did the hot take. I really want to keep with the top 5 thing. I really enjoy doing that. So
let's do this, but we have to follow into one more thing before we go into our 5 with 5 left. We cannot miss this.
Yes.
I sent Joe this news article this morning, and it's very ironic that some of our earlier comments in the chat were talking about their 12-year-old son and their 5-year-old son. If you're a college football fan at all, you know who. Well, no, let's not talk about who it is, okay? But let's talk about what happened at the King's coronation this past weekend. Joe, look, I'm not into all that monarchy stuff, but someone decided they would draw or mow a rather large phallic symbol into the King's lawn. What is up?
So this is not in London. This is like somewhere in England, but they call this the perfect lawn because of the way the houses are shaped there on like a I don't know what you would call that, like a half circle kind of thing. And so then the people there woke up the next day and they saw this big giant, you know what, there, and
a pinnace.
a pinnace.
Big,
And hey, can you make this picture a little bit bigger? Too?
I can't. I didn't put it in there. I thought our reactions.
Well, Travis
would be,
is in one of the
Joe.
In one of the flats there.
Okay, I'm surprised.
I didn't make it that obscene.
I'm surprised you didn't put me
part of the lawn where you look like you're doing something else.
Well,
but, you know.
or I'm riding the rocket. Hey, but you know, Joe.
But there's another person that really enjoys mowing this as well.
We think because
we think we know who did it.
We think we know who did it because in an article this morning, if you follow college football, you'll certainly know who Jim Harbaugh is, and apparently he really loves to mow, and he just doesn't understand why the youngsters aren't out there cutting grass anymore. They're just not out there cutting grass. So who knows? Maybe the old ball coach had something to do with it. But so we said earlier that it was just ironic that someone mentioned their 12-year-old son and their 5-month-old son already getting out and mowing. We've talked about it before here on the show, Joe, that both of us were we were big into lawn care with our dads. That was a big part of our childhood. It was something we really enjoyed. And I kind of understand what Jim Harbaugh's saying here. You don't see a whole lot of kids out there mowing lawns anymore for their moms and dads. It's usually a truck with a trailer pulled up in front of the house. It takes them 15 minutes when 3 guys jump out, knock it out real fast. They move on to the next one. I don't know. Is that a sign that, you know, kids are staying inside more than I thought they were? I don't know. But I loved mowing for my dad when I was a kid. I was the only one out of me and my 3 brothers that was, you know, begging to get out on the lawnmower, mainly because I wanted to drive it. But I don't know. Kids got a lot more things to do today in these days, I suppose, than cut grass.
Yeah.
Did you have friends, Joe, before we get to the final 5 at 5, the video games for sure. I had friends that's all they did in the summertime. They would rake in the cash as a little part-time gig in the summer mowing lawns. I mean, it was lucrative for those guys.
For me, obviously, it was a little bit different with my dad having a lawn business, but I used to, on the side, actually, with one of my friends, we used to cut. He used to use his push mower, and I used to, since I knew how to weed whack and blow and edge, you know, with a weed whacker. I used to just do the weed whacking and the blowing part, and he used to just do the mowing part. And we had a couple of houses, you know, in the summertime that we would cut, and we get $20-$30 for the lawn and split it, and and then we would use that money for Mr. Softy in the neighborhood, or we used to have an ice cream guy in our area. We used to call him Skanky Steve. It's actually, rest in peace. He actually just died. Oh. And
Joe, man.
Yeah, we used to torture our ice cream people.
You Jersey kids.
We used to hop on the back of them and of like their generator on the back of their ice cream vans and like ride around on. It was pretty bad. But anyway, those are the good old days. Like kids today, it's the truth. Like kids today, my kids are outside. We're outside every day playing soccer, football, you name it. We're doing something. But other than my kids, I do not see kids in my neighborhood or other neighborhoods playing like we used to in our generations. You know, going on the golf course, because I used to live across from a golf course, going on there in the summertime, playing home run derby. or
terrorizing the
or
members,
run the run the bases or whatever, and pegging each other with the tennis ball, and yeah, I mean, there's just not kids today are just
and
it's a
and
shame.
and I'm not oblivious to the fact there are a lot of options these days. I mean, there's just so much to do, and I'm sure that plays into it. But it Jim Harbaugh makes a good point,
Yeah,
but it is kind of interesting that somebody that makes as much money as he does and he still mows his own grass. So look, if you're a fan of cutting grass, I guess there's never too much money that you could have in the bank account that would keep you away from it. So it's kind of cool. There's professional golfers that maintain their lawns like golf courses as well. They got to have those golf course lawns. But sometimes you don't realize that lawn care is a much bigger, far-reaching hobby to more folks than we probably even realize. So it's fun to hear about people that are still keeping up with it, even as a multi-millionaire. It's pretty awesome.
yeah.
All right, Joe. Let's go. So Joe, a couple weeks ago, pitched this idea. He said 5. What you set it up, Joe?
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I listened to a sports talk every day, and they do this top 5 at 5 o'clock every day, and I really liked it, and so I came up with an idea of doing a top 5 with 5 minutes to go in our live stream, and it's just going to be random stuff. The first time we talked about what you would hear from a lawn care YouTuber, but tonight, Travis, what would you rather hear about, movies or TV shows?
Okay, I was fixing to say, Joe, we better tiptoe lightly around if we're going to start talking about what lawn care YouTubers say. I don't want to hurt somebody's poor little feelings because, we're here to just make sure everybody's feelings are warm and fuzzy inside. Joe, I don't care. You pick, man. I like not knowing so much. You just tell me what you want to throw out.
So these are my top 5 movies, and these topics are going to more to pertain to what I feel and what I see. So these are top 5 movies that I always watch that are if they're on TV.
Okay. Ooh, I like that. There's just like once you see it in the guide or whatever you're watching, it's done.
It could be something I've seen like 20 times, 30 times, whatever. But whatever, if it's on TV, I'm going to click on it and watch it. So number 5 is Armageddon.
What?
I don't know. There's something about Armageddon that, like, when it's on TV, like I watch it. I don't know what it is.
No.
I don't know if it's the Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler connection. I don't know, but that's just me.
Okay. It better get better from there.
Number 4 is Rocky. Obviously, and when I say Rocky, it's usually Rocky 1. Usually Rocky 2's on TV or Rocky 4.
Rocky 4 is the only good one.
When Rocky, I mean, everyone says Rocky saved, he saved, he crushed the Soviet Union. It's because of him the Cold War ended. I mean, there's people like this is a little off topic, but people literally think that like Rocky like ended the Cold War. Like there's people that will call into sports radio and think Rocky's a real person.
I will say that the story behind that, because Sly Stallone, he wrote that, and the first production company that was going to produce the film was like, you're not going to be the lead role. And he was like, the hell with that. I'm going to be the lead role. And the rest is history after that. But I've never been a big, huge Rocky fan. I did like the 4th one. I don't know. I like Dolph Lundgren, and he was He-Man and Masters of the Universe back in the 80s with Courtney Cox, and who else was in that movie? I don't even remember, but that was such a classic movie. All right, that was number 4. What you got?
Number 3 is Star Wars: The New Hope. The first one. Well, technically, it's not the first one; it's the 4th one.
Nope. Not a Star Wars guy.
I've always been a Star Wars fan. The older ones, I should say, not the first through 3. And I think George Lucas would agree with that. But so number 2 is The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger, the Joker.
We can agree on that. It is a must stop.
That movie's just it's just unbelievable. And then my number 1 top 5 movie that I will always watch when it's on TV. I'll give you a hint. There's a black guy. There's a white guy It takes place in like New England area. I would say it's about like 20 to 25 years old. The movie takes place in a prison.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, are you talking about Shawshank Redemption?
Shawshank
Dude,
Redemption.
that's older than 25. That's like mid 90s,
Is it 25?
isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Shawshank is good. I thought you were about to say Training Day with Denzel and Ethan Hawke.
Nah, Shawshank is just one of my top 5. It's not it's obviously in the top 5, but it's one of my probably my all-time favorite movie. A couple honorable mentions: The Godfather Part 2, the Dead Poet Society is not always on TV, but sometimes I see it on TV. And then during the Christmas time, obviously Christmas Vacation and Polar Express for me. My kids love Polar Express. I love Polar Express. So those are just a couple honorable mentions as well.
Just a couple. 1994. I knew it was a mid 90s.
1994.
Movie.
Wow.
So here are a couple that just come to my mind. And here's what's weird about movies that you just stop to watch that are on TV. They're not necessarily like, for me, they're not necessarily my favorite movies. They're just really good TV watching movies. I'm a huge fan of Lawless with Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And
like
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
It's about Prohibition, the Bondurant brothers from West Virginia.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan. I like true story type movies. So I really like The Social Network with Jesse Eisenberg.
JT.
In Justin Timberlake. The score for that. The music was done by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. It's got this really dark tone and feel to it with the music. So I like that. And for some reason, when The Wolf of Wall Street is on TV, it's hard to pass up. Or The Departed. Anything Martin Scorsese.
When it's R-rated and it's on TV, it's not the greatest, obviously.
It's same with Shawshank Redemption. You don't realize that Shawshank Redemption is highly edited and censored. But anything Martin Scorsese, you got to love Wolf of Wall Street. What did I just say? The Departed.
The Departed, yeah.
Or anything Quentin Tarantino, Django Unchained and Inglourious Bastards. One of those. Yeah. Those are must stops.
I was going to have Inglourious Bastards on there because that's a great movie as well. But
people always say, which one do you like better, Django or Inglourious? And I'm like, whichever one I'm watching, because when I'm watching Django, I'm like, oh, this is way better than Inglourious Bastards. And then when I'm watching Inglourious Bastards, I'm like, oh, this is they're just both so good. Christopher Waltz, is that what you were about to say?
He's a great actor.
He's freaking incredible. So I'm seeing some of the chat. Goodfellas, Unforgiven, Major League, and Caddyshack, two of the best sports movies out there. I mean, both of them incredible. The Three Amigos, the original True Grit. Okay, True Grit was a story written. Wasn't that about Fort Smith, Arkansas, the River Valley, right on the Oklahoma-Arkansas border? Man, lots of good movies. One time on our Sports Talk radio show, they were talking about the best golf or best baseball movies, and I was blown away that this one wasn't mentioned, at least while I was listening. Moneyball. Moneyball is hands down one of the best baseball movies. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, our hour-ish turned into an hour and 23. Hey, George is on board with that. Moneyball. Jonah Hill, nobody knew the acting chops that dude had because he's super bad in all those early movies he did. But when he did Wolf of Wall Street and Moneyball.
Sandlot. Oh, Sandlot. Sandlot's a good one.
You play ball like a girl.
I love Sandlot.
It's such a quotable movie, and it's about to be that time of year.
Yep.
All right. Hey, look, since we missed last week, I think we're cool going an hour and 23 minutes. Lots of good discussion tonight. And look, a lot of that good discussion tonight is a direct result of the feedback we're getting in the chat. Like when we see the things that are piquing your interest and we're getting the feedback and responses from you, all that does is help drive the bus. It just helps it move the train down the tracks and keeps those types of conversations flowing. So you're just as much a part of the show as Joe and I are, even though we're the only two sitting here on camera. So we thank y'all so much for being a part of the show, participating in it with us. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. Share the show with your friend. Let's get this thing growing. We really think this is here for fun, and we want you to know that. We're just here to have fun. If you learn something, great. If you don't, who cares? We're not here to sell you anything. We just want to have fun once a week. Joe, you got any parting words for our friends?
Amen to what you just said. And yeah, and guys, if there's something you want us to hear us talk about, a topic, whatever, again, if you want to shoot us your pictures of your lawn, we'll throw them up there as well.
mybudgetlawn@gmail.com.
Yep. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on there a lot, so check me out there. Shoot me a message on there, and leave a comment after the show is published as well. If you don't leave something in the comment here, again, if you want a topic, comment on the video, let us know. We'll love to talk about it.
Guys, y'all are the best. I promise you. Joe and I like hanging out with each other, but if y'all weren't here to do it with us on Tuesday nights, we sure as heck wouldn't be doing this without you. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the show. We'll see y'all next Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central. Until then, hey, y'all have a great rest of the week. Take care.
See.